What's going on, everyone? James Grage here at Drive 495 in New York, shooting with Muscle and Fitness magazine. And today I'm going to be sharing with you some tips for training shoulders using resistance bands so you can take your workouts wherever you want. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you the free weight version and the resistance band equivalent. So let's jump right into it. All right, so what we're going to talk about is any kind of side raise, front raise, or even doing rear flies. So front raise, we're targeting the anterior deltoid, the front. Side raises, we're targeting the middle. And of course, doing rear flies, we're targeting the rear delt. So side raises, we'll start there. Here's what I typically see. I see a lot of this body English, so they're creating a lot of momentum to get the weight up, and it starts looking like this. What ends up happening is you don't get the proper time under tension that you need per set in order to build muscle. To build muscle, we need about 30 seconds of time under tension. The challenge with using dumbbells is that I don't really have much resistance right here. It starts to get hard about right there. Now, when we're doing this movement, we actually have the option of coming all the way across our body and having resistance all the way across. So what I'm going to show you is the equivalent doing this with resistance bands. Now you can take your workouts wherever you want and you can still build muscle. I anchor it under the same foot of the arm that I'm going to be training. I step on the other side. I'm creating more resistance here by shortening the length of the band. If you want to decrease the resistance, all I have to do is go with a narrower stance here. Make it harder, go with a wider stance. But there's a second reason I do this, and it's because of the angle of pull. So now by going with a wider stance, you can already see the angle of pull with the band. And it's gonna look just like this. I get peak resistance here, but all the way through this range of motion, all the way to here, I've got resistance. Control that isometric, get that good squeeze. Control that eccentric or that negative. That is doing a side raise. Now, all the exact same tips are going to apply to our other movements. So if I were to turn sideways here, if we were to do a front raise, everything that we just talked about, exact same thing. Come over here with bands. Now, the only disadvantage that I have is a little harder to come over here and shorten the length because now we're out in front of us. We can do that, but the other thing that we can do is we don't have to grab it inside the loop here. I can grab it anywhere that I want. Shorten the length of it, create resistance at the very beginning of the range of motion, and squeeze it up. So there's your front raise using bands. I can also, if I wanted to, anchor it under both feet, and I could do doubles. It's like that. Good squeeze, control that eccentric, get that proper time under tension. Now the exact same thing when doing flies. I prefer to anchor these. I would come over here, anchor it nice and low, grab it inside the loop, and I can just step further away to create more resistance, or I could do the same thing and I could just shorten the length by grabbing the side. But now I've got resistance all the way through this beginning range of motion from here to here, where this is your starting point with dumbbells. With dumbbells, if I were to grab them, usually I've got really no resistance right here. It's kind of like a pendulum. It just swings back and forth. Resistance starts right about here. So you can see how small that range of motion is versus bands. I've got resistance here all the way through, all the way back. Now, one small tip when training rear delts. What I want you to focus on, keeping your scapula nice and stabilized, and don't think about squeezing back. I want you to think about squeezing out. So it's gonna look like this. Instead of this is what I see a lot, right here. I don't want this, I want that, right there. If it's bands, same thing, straight arm, right out to the side. Think about going out in either direction as opposed to backwards. So, appreciate you guys tuning in. If you want to find me on social, you can find me on Instagram, James_Grage, Grage, or you can find me on YouTube for other free videos and tips, and I'll see you guys next time.